In the week before the legislature recesses for the Easter Passover break, the House passed bills relating to summer learning, sick leave, and price gouging. Budget targets were also established, and a handful of omnibus proposals began their journey. On Monday, a proposal to outlaw price gouging during certain state and federal disasters passed off the House floor. Representative Zach Stevenson sponsors House File 844.
It would make it illegal to price gouge during a disaster declared by the governor. It would fine people who do price gouge and allow restitution for the victims. It also establishes clear expectations for what is permissible and what is impermissible pricing behavior during an emergency. Businesses won't be left wondering what they can and can't do.
The next day, a proposal to add funding for summer school programs was approved 69-63 along party lines. Sponsored by Representative Jim Davney, House File 1064 would, in part, provide nearly $105 million for what supporters say will help students catch up on some of the learning they may have missed out on due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Members, this is a strong statement of pre-kindergarten to career opportunities for Minnesota students and families. It provides equitable, broad, flexible support for school districts across the state, and marries that with targeted assistance and supports for programs that school districts can access.
Some voted nay over concerns with how the proposed funding would be distributed.
Of the $107 million supposedly going to summer school, only 27% of that funding is going towards directly to schools for summer school. The rest of it is going to the department that they can decide who gets it.
The bill now awaits Senate action. Also on Tuesday, House DFL leaders announced their budget targets. Weighing in at $52.5 billion, they say their proposal puts Minnesota families and workers first.
This pandemic has been difficult for everyone, but some Minnesotans have been hit harder than others. Our budget will focus on helping those most impacted by COVID: students, workers, families, and small businesses. We're committed to ensuring that Minnesotans are able to weather this pandemic and then thrive once it's over. We're raising significant progressive revenue in this budget and making important ongoing investments in areas like education, healthcare, and economic security.
House Minority Leader Kurt Daudt criticized the proposal in a statement, saying, quote, "Instead of helping struggling workers and businesses, Democrats are prioritizing tax hikes and growing government. Their budget targets are a fantasy, and their budget bills will be built on tax increases that will never happen. We have a $1.6 billion surplus and $8 billion coming from the federal government. It's tone deaf to be pushing for tax increases on struggling Minnesotans when government is flush with cash." On Thursday, the House passed legislation that would provide paid sick and safe time for someone who works more than 80 hours a year for an employer. Representative Liz Olson sponsors House File 7, which was sent to the Senate.
I'm carrying House File 7 because everyone gets sick, and the coronavirus outbreak is another stark reminder that when people get sick, they should be able to stay home, not just for their own health or that of a loved one, but for the health of all of us. This bill would ensure that Minnesota is a state where, regardless of the color of your skin, your income, or where you work, you can afford to take the time to recover from an illness at home where you can limit its spread.
Passed 69-63, Olson's proposal would give employees at least 48 hours of sick and safe time each year at their regular rates of pay. Some dissenters claimed that the mandate would make things even more difficult for business owners who are already struggling due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
I know your compassion, but this bill is just troublesome because there's so many groups that have no way to pay for this.
For more nonpartisan coverage of the Minnesota House of Representatives, check out our Session Daily work at house.mn/sessiondaily.